The Battle of Mogadishu, Operation Gothic Serpent. As dusk fell over Mogadishu on October 3, 1993, the air was tense with anticipation. Operation Gothic Serpent was underway, aimed at capturing key lieutenants of the Somali warlord Mohammed Farah Aidid, who were believed to be hiding in the city. The U.S. forces, consisting of elite Army Rangers and Delta Force operators, prepared for what was expected to be a swift, decisive strike. In a dimly lit makeshift briefing room, commanders outlined the mission to a group of focused soldiers. Maps and satellite images were projected on the wall, showing the target building in the heart of the Bakara market. The plan was clear: fast ropes from helicopters, secure the targets, and extract within an hour. The soldiers, clad in combat gear, nodded silently, each lost in their own thoughts about the mission ahead. The thump of helicopter blades echoed through the night as two UH-60 Black Hawks soared over the coastline towards the heart of Mogadishu. Inside, the soldiers checked their gear, the lights inside the helicopter casting stark shadows over their determined faces. The radio crackled with last-minute checks as the city's lights grew closer, mingling with the fire of anti-aircraft guns starting to pepper the sky. As the Black Hawks hovered over the target, ropes were thrown out and soldiers descended swiftly into the chaos of the Bakara market. Gunfire erupted almost immediately, with bullets ricocheting off buildings. The Rangers secured the perimeter as Delta operators stormed the building, engaging enemy fighters who were determined not to give up their leaders easily. The inside of the building was a labyrinth of dark, narrow hallways. Delta Force operators moved silently, using hand signals to communicate as they cleared each room. Tension was palpable, with every shadow potentially hiding an enemy fighter. Suddenly, a door was kicked open, revealing a room full of armed men caught by surprise. No sooner had the soldiers secured the first few hostages than the sound of RPGs, rocket-propelled grenades, and machine gun fire filled the air. An ambush was underway. The initial plan of a quick in-and-out operation quickly evaporated as Somali militia converged on the area. Outside, the Rangers found themselves pinned down, fighting desperately to maintain a perimeter as crowds of fighters spilled into the streets, their faces twisted in fury and determination. The operation took a drastic turn when a loud, whining screech tore through the air, followed by a thunderous explosion. One of the Black Hawks had been hit by an RPG and was going down. Smoke and flames trailed as it crashed into a nearby building, sending a plume of dust and debris into the air. The mission now shifted to rescuing the crew and securing the crash site. As the news of the downed helicopter spread, a convoy of Humvees and trucks was hastily assembled to punch through the city and reach the crash site. The soldiers, aware that every minute counted, drove through narrow streets, dodging roadblocks and gunfire. The intensity of the mission was palpable, with every soldier knowing the stakes were life or death. Back at the first crash site, Rangers and Delta Force members formed a defensive perimeter. They were outnumbered and surrounded, but they held their ground. Snipers took positions on rooftops, providing cover as waves of militia attacked. The night air was filled with the sound of gunfire, shouts, and the wounded calling for medics. As night deepened, the battle continued with unrelenting intensity. Flares lit up the sky, casting a surreal glow over the devastated city. Both sides were exhausted, but neither yielded. The sounds of battle were punctuated by moments of eerie silence, a haunting reminder of the city's pain. As dawn approached, the first hints of light began to reveal the extent of the overnight devastation. Reinforcements from the UN forces finally made their way into the city, providing much-needed support to the beleaguered Rangers and Delta operators. Armored personnel carriers rolled down the streets, and Pakistani and Malaysian soldiers joined the fight, helping to stabilize the situation and begin the process of extracting the surrounded U.S. troops. A second Black Hawk, call sign Super 64, had also been downed the previous day, further complicating the rescue efforts. As the soldiers reached the second crash site, they found it overrun by hostile forces. A fierce battle ensued to reclaim the site and recover the crew. The air was thick with smoke and the sharp scent of gunpowder as the soldiers fought desperately to secure their fallen comrades. Throughout the day, the toll of the battle became increasingly apparent. Many soldiers were wounded, and some had made the ultimate sacrifice. Amidst the chaos, acts of heroism emerged. Medics braved gunfire to tend to the injured, and soldiers risked their lives to drag comrades to safety. Each act of bravery strengthened the resolve of the troops, binding them together in their shared struggle for survival. As the day wore on, the combined UN and US forces began the precarious task of extracting from the city. Convoys of vehicles loaded with troops made their way through the still dangerous streets, while overhead, cover was provided by remaining air support. Every alley and building still posed a potential threat, but the convoys moved with precision and determination. In the days following the battle, as the dust settled and the wounded were tended to, the soldiers had time to reflect on the events. The cost had been high, and the impact of the battle resonated deeply with all who participated. Memorials were held for the fallen, and the survivors grappled with their experiences, forever changed by the ordeal. If you found this video informative, kindly give us a like, share, and click subscribe, as this motivates us to produce more informative content. You can always join the discussion by dropping your comments in the comments section. Don't forget to switch on the notification bell to receive alert when we drop new content.